There are some who believe that shortly after Jesus died, his disciples and best friends gathered together and began to share Easter stories about what he said and about what he did. You remember when he said this? Do you remember that mess over there? Do you remember that woman? Do you remember, that guy over there? And that as they shared their memories, it was like Jesus was there. Not so much resurrected before them, but resurrected within them. And the more they shared the stories, the more it became real. And it was a wake that in time changed the world. With all due respect to all those who believe that, I don't. I fervently don't believe that scenario. I believe that on the first Easter morning, Jesus was dead. And then the stone was rolled away, and the power of God raised him literally, actually, from death. And that he walked out of that tomb alive. Wounded, yes. Bleeding, yes. But he walked out. And he sought those who had abandoned him. And he ate with them and talked with them, and then in time commissioned them to change the world, but he was there. I do not believe this is a dream or a hope or a memory. That is not enough for them or for us. Now, what gives me ground to make that audacious claim that death died? There are 4 things. Them, me, you, us. Those are the headings. All right, them. Can you see those guys who were not how do you say this? The sharpest knives in the drawer. In Texas, I would have said, can you see those bubbas? Can you see them gathering together within a few days, afraid for their lives, full of shame? Full of shame, gathering together and being able to share those stories such that Jesus became so real in their minds and in their hearts that they went out to face everything to change the world? They were not poets who dreamt things up. They were not philosophers who could think things up. They were not romanticists. They were fishermen. They were carpenters. There was a tax collector. They're generally not very creative. I'm not saying that the IRS isn't creative, but anyway. I just don't see that making any sense whatsoever. None of it makes any sense unless he was there. And their first feeling about seeing him again was what? Was it joy? No, it was fear. Because they had just run away. And what does he say to them as soon as he sees them? Peace. Then he shows them his hands and says, this is really me. The second sign, I don't want to say evidence because it sounds like a proof, and there is no proof. There's no proof of anything we proclaim here. It's all great mystery. And we try to make sense of it. But the second evidence that I have is, and I don't mean this to be egotistical, but the second piece of evidence is me. My own life. I do not want to take you through where I've come from, or the ways that I grew up, or the places that I lived, or the many configurations of my family, or all the acting out, or all the all. I want to take you through all of that. But there's many places I could have gone off the path. Many places I could have been in a lot more trouble than I did get into. Now, all that's good practice for living with you. But I know that I would not be here unless the resurrected Jesus was with me. I know that I would not be able to stand here and proclaim this message. I know that I might not even be alive. Unless there was somebody who kept on coming alongside me again and again and raising me up out of whatever ditch or lost road I was on. So I testify to the resurrection because I know the resurrection in my life. You, for a lot of decades now, I have had the great privilege of being with the children of God. Will you hold this for me, please? By the time I get to Easter, I haven't got a lot of voice. All right. I've had the great privilege of being with thousands of the children of God. And it is always a privilege. I've heard your stories. I've heard when you began to get in trouble or lost your way or made some mighty mistake or put your foot in it or hurt those who you love most in the world. And after all that you have been through, the cancers, the betrayals, the denials, the lostness, it doesn't make any sense that you would be here on this day unless you knew the resurrected Jesus in your life. Now, I know some of you, not all of you, but I know some of you well enough, I could almost go aisle by aisle and name it for you. The resurrected Jesus has been with you here, and here, and here. I hope that you remember that and claim that, because you are a sign of the resurrection, because the resurrected Jesus has come to you. This is clearly a friend in the Episcopal Church who's saying amen over there, but that's not true. I feel so nice to have the amen corner back. All right, fourth sign. Look around, everybody. Look around. Look around. Does anybody remember what this community looked like 2 years ago? Did it look like this? A community doesn't get from here or there. A community doesn't get from there to here on its own. A community goes from there to here only with the supernatural power of the risen Jesus Christ. This church is a sign of the resurrection. If we ever wanted to change our name, it'd be Church of the Resurrection. Now, don't go there. I'm not changing the name of the church. Y'all just relax. And every day I see one of you reach into the darkness for some other child of God and lift them up. Lift into a hopeless situation and lift them up. Lift into somebody's loneliness and give them company. Because wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, he is there, the resurrected Jesus. This community is a sign of the resurrection. If you need proof, look around. That deserves an amen. I know it does. I know it. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus, help us. There's one more group. Them, me, you, us. All of us have somebody that we loved mightily who is no longer here. Whose death still staggers us. Whose death was a dying for some part of our heart. all of us. The message of Easter proclaims that that stone on Easter morning was rolled away. The Easter message proclaims that all those who have gone before, the distance between this world and the next, that stone has been rolled away. The Easter message says to every one of us, when it is our time to say goodbye, the stone will be gone. And the Easter message says that in time, in God's mercies, and through God's power, and through the grace of Jesus, we will be in the embrace of Jesus, in the embrace of all those who have gone before, because it is that Easter embrace that is the ultimate reality of all of life. Amen. We good? You wanted me back here? I can do another sermon. Just move back 4 more aisles. Oh.